All right. So I've got three main things that I want to go over with you guys in terms of maximizing holiday sales. It's like, where are my notes? There you go. All right. So yeah, I've got three main things for you guys that are really, I remember learning this when I first started, and this helped me enormously. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but in 2 weeks, we've got a big holiday. What's coming up?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know I was just had the Christmas music on, but it's not here yet. Do you guys know what happens that week in the shopping world?
Black Friday.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So Black Friday, by the way, have you guys, I don't know if you guys have TV. Like, I don't have TV, but I was up in Chicago at his parents' house this weekend. And so the cable was on and commercials kept going on and on about Black Friday. And you don't have to wait till Black Friday. Honor sales now, and so all of the media is already talking about Black Friday sales, Black Friday sales, Black Friday sales, and like early bird specials and and buy now before. And so I share that because the media does a lot to create our like the buying atmosphere. Cool. So it's really up to you to put yourself in front of people. We met on Tuesday with the, events team, all the CSPs, and like doing their planning. I'm like, hey, what's your goal, for the next 6 weeks? And most of them, their goals between 50 and 100 grand in the next 6 weeks. All right. And you might look at them and you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, they're like, I want to sell $50,000, and some of them it's 60, some it's 80, some it's 100 grand, some it's more. All right. And what they know is that every single freaking human has saved up money or planned on spending money when? Now. All right. Like now they're buying stuff for themselves, for the house, for the holidays, people coming over, and not only for them and upgrading so things look nice when people come over, but what are people also buying? Gifts. All right. So it's a double whammy where it's like they're buying for themselves, but they're also buying gifts. So this is important for you guys to know, especially for those of you who haven't worked a holiday, and a reminder for you, because this is a big deal. And if you're not on top of that, you're losing a lot of CPO. I emailed last week or the week before. I sent out a holiday email, and I don't think you have it, Zingman, but you should have gotten it. Did you receive it?
I have to double check.
So easy money for the holidays.
Like
the holiday,
yes.
The holiday email to send out.
Yes, I got that.
Have you sent it yet? No. Have you sent it yet? No. Have you sent it yet? We got to send it today. Like, you got to send it today, and I'll give it to you as well, because even like you don't have as many customers, I would still send it to them. And so it shows them like the reasons to buy Cutco for the holiday gifts. And it has holiday specials in it as well that you guys can utilize, Thanksgiving specials and Christmas specials, Black Friday specials that can all be used now. Cool. So you want to get that out. So that's the first thing is like, this is not part of my points for you guys, but this is just in terms of right now in your business, one, understanding the time of the year, so are you actually taking advantage of the time of the year? Do you actually have time set up? I'm going to put Orlando on the spot because he hasn't been doing a ton of demos, but I'm like, you're crazy if you're not maximizing these next 2 weeks. 3 weeks, because me personally, my goal is to catch as many people before Black Friday as possible. All right, by the way, are they still shopping after? Oh yeah, hell yeah. December is our biggest sales month. But what we know nationally is that the number one shopping day of the year is what day? Black Friday. Cool. So I want to catch them before they go spend money that they had already budgeted. Now, by the way, when people buy Cutco, it's never in the budget, right? We catch them off guard. They see it, they buy it because they like it. What's cool these 2 weeks is that if you catch them right now, they did budget to buy gifts. They did budget to do things, So this is a time where it is actually in many people's budget where it's not most of the year. So it's awesome because it's like one less objection to have to deal with, during these couple weeks. So for me, from like November 1st, like those 3 weeks of November, I was always like, boom, let's go. And I was doing, even with school, I was doing 10 plus demos, typically like 2 on Tuesday, 3 on Friday, and like 5 on Saturday, in the morning. And then I'd go do whatever because I knew like people were out shopping. You go to the malls, you go anywhere, people are out shopping. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that and don't miss that opportunity, which is right now. Thanksgiving is exactly in 2 weeks. All right. This year it was a week later because of the calendar and how things landed. So you guys still have 2 weeks to maximize on that and then continue through there. All right. But I wanted to get as many people doing as much of their holiday shopping with me. And we know everyone doesn't finish it. And there's all the procrastinators and there's people that boycott Black Friday. And so you'll still have a lot of sales that happen all throughout December, all the way into the New Year. And by the way, the number 2 biggest shopping day of the year is the day after Christmas, is the number 2 biggest shopping day of the year. So yeah, and usually that's when people are buying more stuff for themselves just to treat themselves because they get their Christmas bonuses, they get stuff that they got for the holidays, they get gift cards and they're like stuff they don't like, they return, or maybe they got, I've seen people like they got like a small thing of Cutco, like a gift set, and they love it and they like want to get a whole set and they want to upgrade. And so there's a lot of cool things there that you guys can capitalize on it. So I have 3 main keys for you guys in terms of your demos to help you capitalize on your holiday sales during demos. All right. So number 1, you can put down is set the mood. All right. Set the mood. And what I mean by this is I want them thinking about it, right? You guys go into the mall right now. Are you going to think about Christmas? 100%. What's everywhere? Decorations, Christmas trees. I mean, even I went into Home Depot and it's all like Christmas, there's music. They're setting the mood where people go, oh yeah, I gotta buy gifts, I gotta whatever. So like they're setting the mood. So are you doing that when you go to your demos? There's a couple things you guys can do that are simple things. Number 1, you can wrap your blue books, right? So make it look like a present. And so when you take it out, it looks like a present, right? And you guys can open that up and go through to show, but like gift wrap your actual blue book, the front and back. So we'll do that today. I want you guys to wrap those. Another thing you guys can do, which is awesome, is wear a headpiece of some sort. So there's like reindeer antlers, there's like jingle bell things. Some people wear like a Santa hat. And so you'll walk into the house, like right now, you have a demo tomorrow, you're knocking on the door and you have a Santa hat on or like antlers on or like, there's one with like lights on it. It's like jingle bell lights but like go spend $2 and use that for the next month and a half. Like you don't have to wear it all day. Like just when you're about to walk into the house, put your little thing on, you're like, hello, happy holidays, and you're setting the mood. So something happy holidays that you're actually wearing. Another thing that I would do, and that I when I was a rep, I did and saw a lot of people do is that utilizing stockings to pull things out of. So let's say like your gadgets, like put them in a stocking. By the way, the stocking could still be in your bag or whatever, but when you take it out, what are you holding? A stocking. And they're like, oh, what are you thinking about? Yes. Stocking stuffers, gifts. So you're taking your peeler out, you're taking your scissors out, or maybe you have your roll up and your roll up is in a stocking. So utilizing things like stockings, or I saw somebody have an actual like a gift box that it already looks really nice and decorated. You don't have to wrap it. It just like looks nice. And so they'd, in the gift box were like their knives and stuff, and they'd like open the box and like take things out from there, but this is all part of setting the mood. So can you have some fun? Can you get creative with that so people are thinking about that just from the moment you walk in, when they see your blue book and as you're pulling out the knives. And you might have said nothing, but you're just already setting the mood by what they're seeing. Everyone good?
Good.
The second thing is you want to plant seeds. All right. So you're planting seeds throughout, excuse me, the actual demo. So when you start off, now these are phrases and things that you say, right? So in the beginning, you say, oh, Ms. Jones, be like, I am so excited to be here. Like you're chatting with them and saying like, I'm so stoked to show you all this stuff. Be like, we have been getting tons of holiday orders, like customers absolutely love Cutco because it's something, and you could write this down. It's something that people actually use, they're going to use every day. They're going to have it forever and be like, and how many, and it's a gift that doesn't go out of style. Right. So that's something that you can always, you can talk about when you're chit-chatting in the beginning. It's like, oh yeah, we have, be like, I'm going to show you everything. Be like, hey, keep a lookout. So this is right in the beginning, right? When you guys say, hey, as I said on the phone, Zing Ming, you don't have to get anything, but if you do see something you like, you can get it today. and I'm like, hey, by the way, keep a lookout because we have tons of great deals and specials on stuff for the holidays. And this is one of the most popular gifts, especially with Cutco owners, because they know it's a gift that people actually use. And actually, most of the stuff people will use every day and they're going to have forever and it never goes out of style, So like you might have gotten something like, what'd you get 3 years ago? And they're like, I'm like, yeah, most people don't remember. I'm like, but this is actually something that 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, they're still going to be using. I'm like, so keep a lookout because whether it's holiday gifts or as you guys have any weddings or birthdays, any housewarmings, any gifts that you might need, not only are you getting an unbelievable product, but obviously it helps me out a ton for my goals. And my goal is to be one of the top performers for our holiday program, and so they're like, oh, okay, cool. So just like, planting those seeds. When I'm going through, when I cut the penny or I use a peeler, I'm like, oh, these are really popular stocking stuffers, so are you planting those seeds? And saying those things, I'm like, yeah, people love this. My mom loves this. And so sharing stories of people who are like, obsessed with their Cutco. And you're like, be like, the scissors are like my grandma's like favorite thing ever. And they're like, oh my gosh, what a good idea. So they're just thinking about those things. So as I show accessories, when I go through the back of the book, I let them know, hey, by the way, Miss Jones, anything can be engraved. So that's really nice for the holidays because it costs, what is it? $10, $8? Somewhere in there. I gotta look at the price list again. But anyway, let's just, let's call it $10. But I'm like, you can engrave it with their name on it, the date, whatever. And it's just like such a personal, nice touch. And so that's something that you're able to do. We also have gift wrapping. All right. So when you show the accessories, you want to tell them, hey, we have gift boxes. We have gift wrapping as well. So it can come all ready to go for any gifts that you might need or want. Cool. So again, planting those seeds with them from the beginning, as you show the tools, as you go through gifts and accessories, letting them know about engraving, letting them know that we have gift wrapping, letting them know that. Did you get any gift wrap paper when you were in Olean? Did you guys get some? Cool. So show it to them. This is the gift wrap paper. This is what it looks like. So perfect. You guys can utilize that like on your actual demos. So just as you go through, just be mindful, right? Like I'm planting seeds because I want them thinking about gifts, because when I get to the end and I finish closing, I am now going to make a big gift order, okay? And I learned how to do this. And by the way, this brought in thousands of dollars for me in my business. And I turned orders from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. My biggest order that was over $16,000 originally would have been $300, just so you guys know. With my upselling skills for her, it would have become $900 on just like regular knives, because I knew about flatware and how to promote it. My order would have been $3,600. That's because I'm really good at upselling. Because I added gifts, my order was $16,000. Okay. And what I did was at the end, so this is after you've closed, you find out what they want. Then this is a question that I learned to ask. All right. And this brought me a lot of sales. Is, hey, Ms. Jones, have you finished all of your holiday shopping yet? Cool. Write that down. Ms. Jones, have you finished all of your holiday shopping yet? What do you think most people say?
No.
Almost everybody says like, no, not yet. There are some people who are like, I am all done. If you catch them after Thanksgiving, because they had like their list, they knew the last things they wanted, and they're like, no more, I'm done with holiday shopping. So I try to be one of those people where like by Black Friday, I'm done. That's why I always put a lot of urgency to the beginning of November. That's not most people. Like most people are still shopping all the way through, but just ask, hey, have you finished your holiday shopping yet? All right, right now, these next 2 weeks, almost everyone's going to say, oh no, I haven't finished it yet, and I'd say that 70, 80% will still be saying that through December until like the last week. But just ask that question. And now I'm like, and the follow-up question to that, right? So I ask, hey, so have you guys finished your holiday shopping yet? And most people say no. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, Ms. Jones, who would you give Cutco to as a gift? Be like, I'd love to make a list of who you'd actually give Cutco to. I'm like, I assume you're not going to give your 9-year-old niece, like her very own pocket knife of Cutco. It's pretty freaking sharp. It's military grade stuff. I mean, maybe you would, but most people aren't getting their 9-year-old a knife set for Christmas. So I get that. But friends, family, brothers, sisters, I'm like, who are people that you could see yourself giving Cutco to as a gift, whether it was fishing knife, hunting knives, gardening tools, cooking utensils, like any of those things, who would you give Cutco to as a gift? And we make a list of names, and they're like, oh, my parents, and I remember that customer, they actually owned Cutco, by the way, that big sale that I had, they owned Cutco. And I was like, hey, Shelly, does your family own Cutco as well? Because they had a complete set for 10 years. All right. So they already owned Cutco for 10 years. I had gone to do a service call for them. And I said, who in your family has Cutco as well? I'm like, who do your sister's parents? And she's like, I don't think they do. I'm like, really? I said, you guys have owned Cutco 10 years and you've never given your family Cutco as a gift? And they're like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's the best gift. I'm like, they actually use it and they're going to be using it 10 years from now, which you can't say that about most gifts you give people. They're not going to still be using it 10 years from now in most cases. Right. I'm like, it's such a great gift. I go, so who do your parents have? And she's like, I don't think my parents do. Dan, do your parents have Cutco? He's like, I don't think so. We're like going, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, name them at me. I'm like, could you see yourself giving Cutco to as a gift? And they're like, well, my mom, and by the way, both their parents were divorced and remarried. So they had 4 sets of parents. And so this order got real big, real fast. And then, she had 4 sisters, and then he had, 3 siblings, and they had their spouses. And so we're like, right, I'm writing down everybody, their best friend and whoever, whatever. I have a list of like 12 different couples. And I said, okay, cool. I said, what's your typical budget for holiday gifts for them? Because I know that everybody has different budgets for different people. All right. And by the way, that's a fact. I'm going to spend more on my husband than I would on you. Got it? Love you, but I'll get you something. But like, I'm not, I'm going to spend more money on Spencer. On my parents, like on my dad, like I'll spend a certain amount. By the way, I spend different on my brother, right? So people have like, these people, I typically spend like $100, or these people $50. Oh, my parents, $500, or I'll send them on a cruise or something, or $1,000. And depending who they are, that'll be different amounts. All right. Now these guys were doing very well. They had their own business. They're good financially. And they said, our parents typically will do like, we'll send them on a cruise, or, we'll do something really nice, usually a joint gift of about $1,000, or 500 each, like we'll spend on our parents. And I was like, okay. So about $1,000. I was like, is that the same for like all your parents? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. 4 sets of parents, then siblings. And they're like, I don't know. Sometimes we'll do separate things, or I'll get my sister like a Coach bag or something, and we'll get him, I don't know, ties or some other thing. But she's like, probably about $500 like per couple, like for our siblings. And I was like, okay, and I was just like writing stuff down. And I said, cool. I go, well, I don't know if you want to get your parents the set you guys have, which would be a little bit more than you normally spent, or if they cook that much. I go, but if not, then there's a set smaller than yours called the Homemaker. And that one's about $1,300. And it's just a really nice set. I said, and I can actually do the scissors that you guys love as a free gift with that you could give to them. And I said, so it's a little bit more. I was like, but you're getting something awesome that they're going to use forever, and they're like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I said, so that's what I'd recommend for your parents. I go, and then with your siblings, there's a set right under it called our galley set. I said, and the basic one is like 600, the other one's 800. I'm like, here's what you're getting. Again, I can throw in this if you wanted to do that, but that would be a set that I would highly recommend. And then with the other ones, we have this set called All Knife Set, and we have this. And so I showed them everything, and they're like, all right, well, what would that all be together? And I like tallied everything up. And she's like, well, I would also want to get barbecue set for everybody. And I would also want to get, this for whoever. And she's like going through stuff. And we end up, like having this huge order. My CPO, I think, was about 15 grand. But I said, you know what, if you want to do all your Christmas shopping, I go, and literally be done with these 12 families. And then there were some other people. I said, you'll be done and you'll have your stuff, which they were going to buy about $3,600 of their own stuff when I had finished with their order. I said, if you buy this, I was like, I can give you, 2,500 of your stuff. I was like, I give you your stuff for free with this. And I was like, we'll get everything gift wrapped and make sure everything is delivered. And the husband was like, okay, I'm sorry. Did you just say that if we do this, like, I'm like done. I don't have to like go to the mall and figure out what the heck to buy everybody. And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, take the credit card now before she changes her mind. Just do it. And she's like, well, do you think it's a good idea? He's like, I think it's a great idea. He's like, do it. Just do it. And by the way, it's not like they were spending money that like they don't normally spend, like we were just reallocating, like, what do you normally spend on these people? And by the way, is that every person? No, most people, you'll get a $2,000 or $3,000 order, off of different like gift sets and things. And depending what it is, I had a lady who's like, oh, my daughter's getting married during Christmas and we have this, and we got, she spent $5,000, because she had already planned on buying them a nice thing for their house, and she needed gifts for other things. So you really have to get, again, out of your head and understand, like when it comes to the holidays, I wish you guys could see all the receipts you see everyone shopping in the mall and going crazy. Like it's thousands and thousands of dollars that are spent, during the holidays per family, so just knowing that. And so for me, like, I feel great because I know it's actually, again, something they're going to use every day, and they're going to still have and still be using, versus getting lost in the closet, with other things. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I got that. So they're really happy about that. But again, have you finished your holiday shopping? Have you finished all of your holiday shopping? Most people say no. And then you're like, oh, cool. I'm like, well, just who would you give Cutco to as a gift? Like if you were going to give Cutco as a holiday gift, like I assume you're not going to buy a whole set for your 9-year-old niece, but who would you give Cutco, whether it's the cooking utensils, the knives, gardening tools, and I'm bringing up stuff so they could think of like, who do I know that gardens, who do I know that barbecues, but I'm like gardeners, barbecue tools, hunting, fishing, outdoor accessories, right? And there's by the way, you want to say all those things because I want them to go, oh, my brother fishes, oh, well, my mom gardens, so I bring up gardening, fishing, barbecue, hunting, knives, like all those things. And then we make the list of people. And again, once I have the list of people, then I ask how much. And I say, hey, totally up to you, by the way. And I'm like, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you typically spend? I know some people, they like, I spend $100 on them. Some people, they're like, I spend $500 on them. These people, I spend $1,000 on them. So everyone's different. I go, if I have a gauge on that, I can suggest things, or we can just go through the book. And by the way, I have had some customers who are just like, well, let's just go through the book. And they just picked out things they liked for people based on like their likes. They didn't care about the price, and then some people were like, well, I really want to spend about $100 or $150. What could I get for that? And I'm like, well, there's this gift set, there's a scissor. I'm like, you could do like a cheese knife, spatula combo. It'll be a little bit more, but they're going to use the heck out of it, and so I'm suggesting things to them, based on that, so people will be different.
So how would you phrase that again? Like, so if you don't want me asking.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm like, how much do you typically budget, for holiday gifts for these people? And I give example, I go, because I know some people, like I have a budget where it's like, okay, $1,000, and these people are like 500. These people are couple hundred, this one's $100 or 50, so like there's certain amounts that sometimes people spend on certain people, where some other people are just like, I just want to buy to what they like. So how much is this? Because he loves hunting and fishing. So let me do, like, I had a customer who did a hunt fish knife combo for all the men in her family. And so she did a fishing knife, pocket knife, golfman and outdoorsman, and another one. But it was, you guys know prices on that, but it was about $500. But it was a really nice gift with, 4 or 5 knives. I can't remember. I think I gave her the pocket knife free. And she did this combo, and she did that for all the men in her, they're 12 different guys, so that right there is $6,000 order, but she did that. But by the way, she would have spent $500 at the mall buying them whatever things at Brooks Brothers or, whatever the heck, she'd get them. But she was like, yeah. And she loved Cutco. She had Cutco. And she was like, I want to do a hunt fish knife, like package. And then for the ladies, she ended up doing like, a gift set with a scissor and a peeler, or no, it was like a scissor, a trimmer, spatula spreader, something else, so just, but again, you want to bring up these ideas and share what other people have done. Be like, yeah, we've had people that like, they know like the people in their family, like hardcore hunting, fishing knives. And so they'll do like a cool little package. We could do a buy 3, get 1 free. Like there's different things. And then some people really like to stick to a certain amount they spend on a person. So be like, but I can help you with that. That's something you want to look at. But just bring it up. But again, build great rapport in the beginning. You're helping them throughout the process, and you're helping them knock something out, which by the way is a pain in the butt. So like go figure out, okay, what are we getting everyone this year? What are we getting this person? So for a lot of people, it's a huge relief to get that done, and not have to worry about it. So other questions, feedback. I've been talking for 30 minutes straight. Or close to it, 25 minutes.
Do we still have one more key to go over?
No, those were the 3.
Oh, okay.
Setting the mood, planting seeds, and then the questions at the end after closing, to make the wish list for them of people that they would give Cutco to, and then being able to match things up for those people based on their likes or based on, amounts of money that they'd want to spend.
Where should we ask, like, what part in our demo should we ask about should we ask this at the beginning or just ask like, have you finished all your holiday shopping?
I do that after I close their sale. Yep. In the beginning, I'm talking about like, oh, we've got a lot of great deals. I'm like, keep a lookout, because, keep a lookout for like the holidays. I'm like, I don't know if you finished your holiday shopping yet. I don't ask them, they might say that, but I'm like, I don't know if you finished. I'm like, but we have a lot of great stuff for holiday gifts. And it's actually something people use every day. They're going to have forever, and so in the beginning, we're talking about that because I'm telling them like, hey, like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything. I'm like, but keep a lookout because we have awesome options for holiday gifts that's super popular amongst, all of our Cutco owners, and even most people that see it for the first time are just like, wow, and it's a gift people will actually use and love. And they'll have, which will make you feel good when you go to their house like 10 years from now and they're like, I still use that spatula. And you're like, yes, you do, like it feels really good. So sharing that, like I would say what I just did right now, I do that with a customer and the customer laughs and they're just like, oh, that'd be so nice, So stories and sharing, other customers and people that love Cutco and people who've given Cutco are great things to share, and if you don't have your personal stories, you can use mine. You just say, oh yeah, we have a lot of people that buy Cutco for the holidays. Like that is something we have a crap ton of. And you could talk to every CSP and they're like, oh yeah, like, let's do this. This is their favorite time. Yesterday, James Rushing had over a $5,000 order for gifts. And this is the time of the year where you're going to have those big 5, 10K orders and they expect them and they're excited about them. So when they're saying I'm going to sell 50 to 10K, 100 grand, it's not selling a bunch of $200-$300 sales. It's because they know this is when they get those 5 to 10 grand orders, when people do, buy a bunch of gifts for the holidays and they're able to close those big sales. Cool. So any other questions that you guys have? Boom. All right. So is this helpful for you guys?
Yes.
It makes it really